welcome everybody. Do you want to turn your PC speaker off so that, okay, there we go, good. All right, so, all right. Did one of you guys send him a link by email? Would you do that, Julia? Thanks. Okay, so we're going to get started. The agenda for the day is to cover a number of questions that have come up quite a bit, and at least one of my colleagues here is going to be able to help watch all of the questions that come across. Christine, can you see the questions box? Yep, okay, so it looks like everybody's figured out how to do the questions box mechanism here, which is great. And we'll keep an eye on questions that show up throughout this discussion today. I just want to do one more setting change here. Pull this guy over here. There. And pull that over here. There we go. And excuse me as I figure out how to get my magnifier up. There we go. And ta-da! That's it. You can see my PowerPoint. Good. So we're going to cover 4 basic topics today. The questions that have come up quite a bit over the last week of the first week of this pilot project. And then we're going to cover a couple of topics to help you see some of the tools that we've released for you to help with collaboration among the coaches and with us included, and also opportunities for sharing information among each other. And then through this entire process, we're open to questions during the entire conversation. And of course, we're collecting any and all feedback about how to improve this this particular project to get this to a place where it's ready to open up to all of the coaches that want to participate in it. And we'll talk a little bit about some next steps in terms of some of the things that are coming up in the very near future. So the first thing I want to do is I want to cover a couple of topics that have come up quite a bit over the last week, and we'll start with that, and then I'm going to turn the screen over to one of my colleagues here who's going to show you some of the collaboration tools and reporting tools that we have for you. So the first item is get that out of the way here. There we go. The first item is there's a question that has come up quite a bit, and that question is why am I not getting any messages? So there are 3 things here. The first is, as we pointed out on email to some of you, and we just want to make sure everybody gets to hear this, we have an algorithm that is distributing potential client students to each of the coaches, and the algorithm that was doing that turned out to be quite lumpy. In fact, there are some coaches with one person that they've been assigned to, and others with more than 100. So clearly we didn't do that right, and we've now begun a process of adjusting that algorithm to ensure that each coach essentially gets a round-robin share of the prospective clients. So the idea is if, for example, we had 1,000 potential students and we had 10 coaches, then as each new student comes in, we would start round-robining them to each of the 10 coaches so that at the end of 100 iterations of that, each of you have 100. That didn't turn out to be the way that this particular system worked, unfortunately, on our first week. So we got that part wrong. So some of you got overwhelmed and some of you got nothing. So we apologize for that. The second is we have this lumpy supply and demand issue that was likely to happen at the very beginning of this process. So for example, we have plenty of Italian coaches for Italian students and not nearly enough English coaches for English students. So we're going to take some time to sort out exactly what that balance is as we move forward, and so that will help solve some of that problem. And then finally, in evaluating all of the questions that have come from you and also from evaluating the behavior of the people that are coming through, the new members that are registering through the process to find you in the first place. Some of our messaging is not very clear throughout that onboarding process, which in fact, has kept many students from reaching out to you in the first place. So some of you have been wondering why you haven't heard anything. It turns out that some of our messaging has made it, frankly, unclear that that's what they should be doing. So we're revamping the messages throughout the entire onboarding experience to encourage more prospects to reach out to you. So before I go on any further on that particular topic, I just want to make sure that we answer any other questions on this one. So looks like everyone can hear. Right. So okay. So a couple questions that are coming up here that I'll address so that I sort of take these on one at a time. Yes, some of you are English English teachers with no contacts, and the reason you don't have any is because of the first point that I made, is that the algorithm didn't work right. We distributed it incorrectly, and it's also true that we've got some English coaches that have got way too many, and so we've done frankly a poor job of implementing that first particular algorithm to try to get the right balance of students to coaches based on what we have so far. So that's what I meant by that. The question is, what's the timeline on this? And I'll probably let Christine answer that question because she's probably closer to it than I am. Yeah, well, unmute then, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we're actively working on this right now, and looking at the data, actually we think we know, we can pinpoint a few improvements we can make. So you should start to see improvements over the next week, and we'll closely monitor it, and we'll be counting on you actually to be feeding back to us, how you're doing. But as well, the tool I'll be demoing later will actually show you how many students are assigned to you, so it won't be a mystery to you anymore. But so you'll have the reporting for next week. We're actively working on. We should expect to see improvements by the end of next week in terms of student-coach assignments.
Any other, there are a bunch of questions that are coming up now about this next topic, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. There seems to be some confusion about how to respond to friend requests and submission review requests, and it's basically there's a jumble of different things coming at you, both in the form of actual requests that come from someone doing an exercise and selecting a coach to review it, and then there are people just sort of at random submitting questions to you. And the question sort of that comes out of that is, how do I know which ones are coming from students assigned to me? So this is largely a function, really, of the fact that this is an early stage of this pilot. And there's three main causes of confusion that are going on here that will come to resolution very quickly over the next week or so. So the first is some members just don't understand that they're paying for reviews with tokens. And that's because we haven't fully deployed that across the entire site. So there's some people that are confused, rightfully can be confused because they've got tutor reviews still buried inside the coursework that they've got. So we're cleaning that up as a next step. The linkage of the coach to the active course, which we did for this pilot project, and limiting this pilot only to new registered members, is actually in conflict with having given you a public badge, which everybody in the world can see, that says you're a coach. And so we thought that this wouldn't be an issue, but it's pretty clear that we need to run as fast as we can to allow people to select you as a coach, regardless of which particular course they've set up or signed up for. And that's going to require a little bit of work on our end, and that's something we're definitely going to be working on over the next week or so to resolve that. So that's the second big chunk, is that because the only people that saw you as a coach from an introduction standpoint were the people that were new members, but other older members that have been around for a while also saw a badge. You've started seeing people soliciting your help. And in the past, this has always been true, but I just want to point this out, that in the past, that if you've become friends with members, then they can select you as a person to review their exercise. And essentially, by becoming a friend with a member, you're giving them permission to become your free study buddy. And that's frankly always been true. And I remember when I was first starting with French lessons, I forget what her name is, but I believe her name was Genevieve, was my tutor. And she made it clear that she wouldn't become my friend because I was trying to become her friend, but she made it clear that she wasn't going to be my friend, not because she didn't like me or didn't think I was a very nice person, but she made it clear that the way to connect with her was through the tutor mechanism that was then in place. So one of the things that's become clear now to us is that maybe what we should do is we should well, we'll give you the choice, but we think maybe what we should do is flush your friends list for now, because in essence, if you're going to be playing a coach role and want great clarity on whoever's communicating with you in a coach capacity, that what we've got is people that are coming to you through that particular communication mechanism. So to boil this down, and then I'll start answering questions, in the near term, in the next week or so, I'm going to ask you to bear with us. We're about to show you today a client report site that will give you at least one place to view all of your prospective and paying students. And in the meantime, I guess the thing that I would ask you to do is just whenever somebody's communicating with you, just be welcoming and helpful to anyone that's seeking you out, and just frankly ask them if they've paid tokens to get you to do a review, because if they have, then clearly they've got this set up correctly, and if they didn't, just tell them that we basically have a choice. You can either do the review, to be nice, or you can tell them just to hang on until the coaching program is open to all members. So speaking to that, it's now clear from all of the stuff that's going on in the last week that the best thing for us to do is to open up coaching to all Live MoCA members, which creates a whole bunch of other challenges for us, but I think that will resolve the vast majority of the confusion associated with what we've got going here. So one of the questions that we'll be soliciting your input on is, should we be eliminating your friend list for now and allow you to be more selective going forward in who it is that you choose to have as friends at Live MoCA, because the people that are communicating to you from that point forward are going to be your prospective students as well as students that pull in through the coaching program. So I'll be quiet for a minute and we'll read some questions and answer.